My husband's family staged a public humiliation at his mother's 70th birthday dinner in Rome. They forgot one thing. I was the one holding all the reservations. The first sign was the chair. 12 seats at the table overlooking the Colosseum. 12 place settings with hand-calligraphed name cards. 12 crystal champagne flutes catching the golden light of the Roman sunset. 12 Caldwells. No 13th place setting. No acknowledgement I existed. I stood there in my Valentino gown, the one I'd bought specifically for this dinner, the one Eleanor had said made me look appropriately elegant, holding my clutch and staring at the empty space where my chair should have been. Sean chuckled. Actually chuckled. Oops, guess we miscounted. The family laughed. That performative amusement of people sharing an inside joke. I was the punchline. Seems I'm not family, I said, my voice steady even as my chest tightened. Eleanor's triumph flickered across her perfectly Botoxed face for just a moment before she arranged it into concern. Oh, Anna, don't be dramatic. We can ask for another chair. Don't bother. I turned and walked out of Ristorante Aroma, past the shocked maitre d', past the tourists taking photos of the ancient amphitheater, past the designer shops and cobblestone streets, until I found a small cafe across the Piazza del Colosseo. I ordered an espresso in flawless Italian, the language I'd been teaching myself for 6 months to surprise Eleanor, and pulled out my phone. I had 30 minutes before they'd realize what I was doing. Time to burn their perfect world to the ground. I'd been Anna Morgan Caldwell for 5 years when they decided to destroy me. Anna Morgan before that, Boston's premier event planner, the woman who'd built a boutique agency from nothing and made it the go-to for the city's elite. Politicians, CEOs, trust fund babies. If you wanted an event that made the society pages, you called Morgan Events. That's how I met Sean Caldwell. His sister Melissa was getting married and their usual planner had a mental breakdown trying to meet Eleanor's impossible standards. I took over with 3 months' notice and pulled off a wedding that made Town & Country's top 10 of the year. Sean proposed 6 months later. A Caldwell marrying a middle-class girl from Worcester. His parents were horrified, but Sean had that rebellious streak wealthy boys get when they've never faced real consequences. He wanted me, so he got me. I thought love conquered all. I was 32 and stupid. The Caldwells were Boston Brahmins. Old money, older names, the kind of family that had streets named after them. Sean's great-great-grandfather had made a fortune in textiles. His grandfather had expanded into real estate. His father Richard managed the family trusts and sat on museum boards. They lived in a Beacon Hill brownstone worth $8 million, summered in Martha's Vineyard, wintered in Palm Beach. Their lives were a carefully curated performance of class and breeding, and I was the interloper who didn't know which fork to use. For 5 years, I'd tried. God, how I'd tried. I learned their social codes, their unspoken rules, their arbitrary standards. I dressed right, spoke right, attended the right charity functions. I planned their events, weddings, anniversaries, fundraisers, always perfect, always praised, never quite enough to be family. This trip to Rome was supposed to be different. Eleanor's 70th birthday, a week-long celebration. I'd spent 6 months planning every detail. The imported flowers from her favorite Florence florist, the custom menu featuring dishes from her 1970s honeymoon, the private Vatican tour with a cardinal I'd connected with through a client, the yacht to Amalfi, the villa in Tuscany, every detail perfect, every vendor personally vetted, every reservation secured with deposits from my company's credit line because the Caldwells were temporarily cash poor while waiting for an investment to mature. I should have known something was wrong. The signs had been there all week. Monday morning, breakfast at the hotel. I came down at 9 a.m. as planned and found the table already cleared, the family gone. They left at 8:30, signora, the concierge told me. Nobody had mentioned the time change. Monday afternoon, shopping in Via Condotti. I suggested joining them. Oh, it's just girl time, Melissa said, her voice too bright. You understand. Except Eleanor's daughters-in-law, Catherine and Julia, were going too. Just not me. Tuesday. A family dinner I learned about when I saw the photos on Eleanor's Instagram. You were at the spa, Sean said when I asked. We didn't want to interrupt your massage. I hadn't been at the spa. I'd been confirming Wednesday's lunch reservations and tipping the sommelier. Wednesday morning, whispered conversations that stopped when I entered rooms, sidelong glances, Eleanor's eldest son Richard Jr. saying, well, some people just aren't built for this lifestyle, while looking directly at me. I'd rationalized every slight, told myself I was being paranoid, told myself they were just typical wealthy people being typically thoughtless. Then Thursday morning, everything changed. Sean had gone for a run at 6 a.m. He'd left his briefcase open on the desk in our hotel room. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for his credit card to pay for the breakfast I'd ordered from room service. That's when I saw the documents. Draft divorce papers, dated 2 months ago, filed in Massachusetts. Settlement terms offering me nothing. No alimony, no property division, no nothing. And attached to the filing, a script. An actual script with stage directions. Scene, mother's 70th birthday dinner, Rome. Sean, stands, taps glass. Everyone, Anna and I have an announcement. Anna, looks surprised but composed. We've decided to part ways amicably. Sean, it's mutual. We want different things. We'll always care for each other. Anna, emotional but dignified. I wish the Caldwells nothing but happiness. My hands were shaking so hard I nearly dropped the pages. There was more. Text messages printed out. Vanessa Hughes, his college girlfriend, the one Eleanor had always mentioned with that wistful tone. Such a suitable girl, from a good family. Messages going back 8 months. Can't wait to see you in Rome. Have you told her yet? The baby is kicking. Doctor says everything looks perfect. Your mother is thrilled. She's already planned the nursery. The baby. Vanessa was pregnant. 4 months along, according to the ultrasound photo paperlessly tucked into the printout. I sat on the bathroom floor for 20 minutes, breathing through my nose, trying not to vomit. Then I went back to the briefcase and kept looking. That's when I found the real secret. Bank statements, investment accounts, property assessments, all stamped confidential from Stearns and Mitchell LLP, the Caldwell family attorneys. The Caldwell fortune was gone, not diminished. Gone. Richard Sr. had made a series of catastrophic investments in a tech startup that imploded. $47 million. Just gone. He'd taken out loans against the properties, mortgaged the Beacon Hill house, the Martha's Vineyard estate, the Palm Beach condo, all of it leveraged to cover margin calls and bad bets. Current family net worth, $2.3 million in liquid assets, with $18 million in outstanding loans. They were broke, or about to be. And there, in a separate folder, were incorporation documents for offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. Stearns and Mitchell had helped them hide the remaining $2.3 million in a web of shell companies. The accounts were dated 6 weeks ago, right after the divorce papers were drafted. The plan was crystal clear. Divorce me before the creditors came calling. Hide what little money remained offshore. Let me walk away with nothing while they declared bankruptcy and protected their remaining assets. The missing chair at dinner wasn't an oversight. It was theater. Public humiliation designed to make me walk away looking unstable. Too emotional, not Caldwell material. They'd announced the divorce after I left in tears, paint me as dramatic and unsuitable. Close ranks around Sean and his pregnant society girlfriend. I photographed everything. Every document, every page, every bank statement. Uploaded them to my secure cloud storage. Then I put everything back exactly as I'd found it. Sean came back from his run at 7:45. Morning, babe. Sleep well? Great, I said, smiling. I'm excited for tonight. He kissed my forehead. Me too. Liar. I spent Thursday afternoon calling people. First, my lawyer, Catherine Way, 48, Harvard Law, specialized in high net worth divorce cases. We'd worked together on several events. I'd planned her firm's holiday parties. She owed me favors. Anna, are you sure about this? She asked after I'd emailed her the photographs. Completely sure. The offshore accounts are illegal. If you report this, when you report this, the Caldwells are looking at tax evasion charges, bankruptcy fraud, possibly money laundering. The IRS doesn't mess around with Cayman accounts. Good. Anna, you understand this will burn every bridge. You'll never work in Boston society again. Catherine, they were planning to burn me first. They just didn't expect me to have matches. She was quiet for a moment. Okay, give me 2 hours to prepare the documentation. If you're going to do this, we do it right. Next, I called Marcus Romano, my contact at the Michelin Guide. We'd worked together when I was sourcing restaurants for a client's Italy tour. Marcus, I need advice. Hypothetically, if someone booked a very expensive restaurant under their name and company credit, and then discovered the people they'd booked for were planning something terrible, could they cancel? Marcus was quiet. Hypothetically, if the reservation and deposits were in their name, those are their contracts to cancel. But Anna, this would damage relationships with vendors. What if I explained the situation? Professional courtesy? Then, hypothetically, most vendors would understand. We've all dealt with difficult clients. If you're the one who's been professional and someone else has been less so, vendors remember. Thank you, Marcus. Anna, whatever you're planning, document everything. Third call, Richard Santos, my financial advisor. Former JP Morgan, now independent, 15 years of experience helping clients navigate complex financial situations. Richard, if someone found evidence of offshore accounts being used to hide assets during a divorce, what would happen? The IRS would be very interested. We're talking criminal charges, not just civil penalties, asset forfeiture, possible prison time for fraud. Why? Just gathering information. Anna, if you know about something like this, you could face charges for not reporting it. What if I reported it tonight? Then you'd be protected as a whistleblower. Actually, you might be entitled to a percentage of recovered funds. The IRS whistleblower program pays 15 to 30% of collected proceeds, 15 to 30% of $2.3 million plus penalties. That was at least $500,000, more than the Caldwells had ever planned to give me. Good to know. Thank you, Richard. Last call. My assistant, Jennifer. 26, brilliant, capable of handling anything. Jen, I need you to prepare something for me. IRS Form 211, application for award for original information. I'm sending you photographs. Offshore accounts, tax evasion, bankruptcy fraud, the whole package. Oh my God, Anna, are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. I need it ready to file by tomorrow morning, Boston time. You've got it. Anna, destroy them. At 7 p.m., I walked into Ristorante Aroma wearing my Valentino gown and a smile. The restaurant was perfect. I'd chosen it specifically. Michelin-starred, terrace overlooking the Colosseum, The kind of place that required reservations 6 months in advance and had a $10,000 minimum for private dining. The Caldwells were already there. Eleanor in vintage Chanel, Richard Sr. in Brioni, the siblings and their spouses in various designer labels. Everyone dressed for the society photos they'd post later. 12 chairs, 12 place settings, no 13th. After I walked out and sat down at the cafe with my espresso, I opened my phone. Every reservation was in my name. Anna Morgan Caldwell. Morgan Events. Every deposit secured with my company's American Express. Every vendor relationship built on my reputation over 15 years of making impossible things happen. I started canceling. First, Ristorante Aroma. I called the manager Marco DeLuca. We'd worked together on 2 previous Roman events. Marco, it's Anna Caldwell. I need to cancel tonight's reservation. Senora, they are already seated. I know. I'm outside. Marco, the people at that table are not who they presented themselves to be. I'll pay the cancellation fee, but I need you to ask them to leave. This is very unusual. I understand. Let me explain. I told him everything. The planned divorce. The humiliation. The missing chair. I'm the one who's been professional. They're the ones who've been deceptive. Marco was quiet. Senora Caldwell, in this business, we value integrity. If what you say is true, it's true. And Marco, there may be issues with their ability to pay. Ah, understanding. When should I inform them? Now, please. Give me 2 minutes. Second, tomorrow's lunch at the Vineyard in Frascati. $8,000 for 12 people, wine tasting, custom menu, canceled, deposit returned. Third, the Vatican tour. Cardinal Vittorio Messina, whom I'd connected with through 3 years of correspondence about a client's papal blessing. I called him directly. Your Eminence, I'm so sorry, but I need to cancel tomorrow's tour. Anna, my child, what's happened? I told him. Not everything, but enough. The humiliation. The betrayal. The planned destruction of my life. I'm so sorry you've experienced this cruelty, he said. Your deposit will be returned immediately. And Anna, you are worth more than their judgment. I blinked back tears. Thank you, Your Eminence. Fourth, the yacht to Amalfi, Captain Francesco Russo. $25,000 for 3 days, luxury accommodations, private chef. Cancelled. Fifth, the Tuscany Villa, Villa Belvedere, owned by the Marchesi family. $40,000 for 4 nights. I'd negotiated for months to get that booking. Cancelled. Every arrangement, every carefully planned detail, every piece of the celebration I'd spent 6 months creating. Gone. 28 minutes since I'd walked out. I finished my espresso, smoothed my gown, and walked back toward the restaurant. Marco met me at the service entrance. Senora Caldwell, I've informed them. They are not pleased. I imagine not. Thank you for your professionalism. Always. He paused. Senora, I should tell you, the gentleman tried to pay with a credit card. It was declined. 3 different cards. Of course they were. The statements I'd seen showed they were maxed out. They're discussing alternate payment now. From near the kitchen, partially hidden by an archway, I watched Marco return to the table. Richard Sr.'s face shifted from confusion to alarm. Eleanor clutched her 3-strand diamond necklace, the one from her wedding, worth $150,000. Melissa was whispering frantically to her husband Thomas. Catherine looked like she might be sick. Julia was already crying. Sean was staring at his phone, reading the text I'd sent exactly 30 seconds ago. All deposits returned. All arrangements canceled. Your family's financial problems are about to become very public. Enjoy your last Michelin dinner. Hope you can afford it. A. His face drained of color. My phone rang. Sean, I answered. What the hell are you doing? Seems I'm not family, Sean. So I'm not responsible for family celebrations. You need to fix this right now. I've seen the financial statements, the emails about the offshore accounts, the draft divorce papers, the script for tonight's announcement. Should I go on? His sharp breath confirmed everything. Those were private, like the texts about Vanessa's baby, like the deliberate seating arrangement, like the plan to divorce me before your family's bankruptcy becomes public. My voice was ice. Tell me, Sean, when exactly were you planning to mention that you've been having an affair for 8 months and she's 4 months pregnant? Silence. That's what I thought. I stepped into view from the archway. 12 pairs of eyes turned to me, some angry, some fearful, all disbelieving. "Anna!" Eleanor's voice was shrill. "How dare you ruin my birthday?" I smiled, the same smile I'd used at 1,000 events, arranging 1,000 details for 1,000 ungrateful clients. But colder now, sharper. "I learned from the best, Eleanor. After all, isn't this exactly what you planned for me? The only difference is I changed the ending." "You'll regret this," Melissa spat. "You'll never work in Boston again. We'll destroy you." "That's where you're wrong, Melissa." I pulled out my phone, showed them a screenshot. "I've already filed IRS Form 211. Whistleblower report. Those offshore accounts you set up to hide assets during the divorce? The IRS is very interested, as is the Massachusetts Attorney General's office. Bank fraud, tax evasion, bankruptcy fraud, the whole package." The table went silent. Richard Sr. actually swayed in his seat. "You can't," he started. "I already did. My lawyer filed the paperwork an hour ago. The IRS takes these things very seriously. Cayman accounts, shell corporations, asset hiding during divorce proceedings, they estimate 15 to 30% whistleblower reward on recovered funds. That's a lot more than you were planning to give me in the divorce settlement, which, by the way, offered me nothing." Eleanor's face was white. "We'll sue you for defamation." "With what money? I've seen your bank statements. You're $18 million in debt. The only reason you could afford this trip was because I paid for everything." I looked at Sean. Tell them how you've been using my company's credit line for months. Tell them how the Beacon Hill house is mortgaged. Tell them about the investment that wiped out the family fortune." Sean's silence was confirmation enough. Marco cleared his throat. "Excuse me, but about the payment." Richard Sr. pulled out his wallet, tried 3 credit cards, all declined. Eleanor slowly removed her diamond necklace. "Will this be sufficient as collateral?" Marco examined it professionally. "For this evening's charge of $12,000, yes. We'll need to have it appraised tomorrow for final payment." She handed it over with shaking hands. 3 generations of Caldwell family history, now collateral for dinner. I turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and one more thing. I've already spoken to every vendor who works with Boston Society. Told them what happened. Professional courtesy and all. Word spreads fast in event planning circles. Good luck finding anyone who'll work with the Caldwell family after this." I walked out into the Roman night. I heard later they had to use Julia's engagement ring to settle the hotel bill. By Friday morning, word had spread through Rome's luxury hospitality network about the illustrious American family with payment difficulties. No villa would extend them credit. No restaurant would honor their reservations. They flew home Saturday economy class, while I flew home Friday first class, using points I'd accumulated planning their previous vacations. The IRS investigation took 6 months. The Caldwells paid $4.7 million in back taxes, penalties, and interest. Richard Sr. faced criminal charges, pled down to 2 years probation and a $500,000 fine. The Beacon Hill house sold to pay creditors. Martha's Vineyard and Palm Beach properties were foreclosed. My whistleblower reward, $847,000. Tax-free. Sean's divorce filing was thrown out when Catherine presented evidence of his adultery and financial fraud. Massachusetts doesn't look kindly on hiding assets while planning divorce. I got half of what was left, about $200,000 plus his car and the furniture I'd bought. Vanessa Hughes broke off the engagement when she realized Sean was broke. Last I heard, she married a hedge fund manager in Greenwich. Morgan Events lost exactly 0 clients. Turns out, everyone loves the story of the wedding planner who destroyed old money with their own arrogance. My bookings doubled. I kept the name Caldwell on my business cards, though. Anna Morgan Caldwell. A reminder of what I survived. What I won. 6 months after Rome, Eleanor's sister Patricia called me. She was planning her 50th anniversary party. "I heard what happened in Rome," she said. "I heard what my sister's family did to you. I've always thought Eleanor was an insufferable snob. Would you plan my party?" I'd be honored. The party was perfect. 75 guests, all of them Boston society. All of them knowing exactly what had happened to the Caldwells. All of them seeing me, the woman who'd beaten them at their own game, arranging champagne and coordinating caterers with perfect professionalism. Eleanor wasn't invited. My husband's family staged a public humiliation at his mother's 70th birthday dinner in Rome. They forgot one thing. I was the one holding all the reservations. And when you underestimate the woman who's been planning perfection for 15 years, you shouldn't be surprised when she plans the perfect revenge. Seems I was family after all. Just not the kind they wanted.